Hey there, BookTube. Noah. Thanks for coming by my channel again. Everyone who reads it must converse. Today I'm going to do another author spotlight, an amazing author involved in so much stuff, Charles Williams. And you might say, who's Charles Williams? You know, I went for a long time of my reading life not knowing who Charles Williams was. But Charles Williams was a friend and contributor, you know, in big ways to C.S. Lewis, to J.R.R. Tolkien, and they, as well with him, they were all part, C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, and Charles Williams, and others, Owen Barfield, were part of a writing group, an Oxford writing group called the Inklings. Just a powerhouse, huh? So it's an amazing story. There's a great book called The Inklings that will give a lot of the background and a lot of the ideas, you know, that they were pursuing. Obviously, very theologically minded. All of these authors are, and you know they're obviously into fantasy. They're all fantasy, metaphysical, you know, kind of like you know, like with C.S. Lewis's stuff, you have like direct, you know, parable and things like that. But Charles Williams was the man. So this is a companion book I want to show first. The Novels of Charles Williams, Ignatius Press, Thomas Howard. This is a great little companion to Charles Williams' work. So I recommend that. For sure. Charles Williams has a reputation, for those that have read him, as being a little dense of a read. I don't find it like that at all. Or definitely an intellectual writer. He is. But he didn't write, you know, it's not steeped in intellectual speaking, but he just, you know, it just reads like, you know, maybe a little tough for some people. So there's a good companion. But I'm going to focus on Charles Williams' novels in this video and go over some of the ones that I've read. But he wrote plays. He wrote commentary on poetry and you know, like literary criticism. He was very into that kind of thing. He wrote theological works. There's a couple of theological works that he wrote that I can't wait to get my hands on. And we'll touch on a little bit of that because his ideas, you know, obviously show up in his works. So his novels are Shadows of Ecstasy. I'm going to show them close because these are great covers on these old paperbacks. And this is really like his stuff is not widely available. So you'll find them if you look, for sure, but they're just not widely available. Many Dimensions. Very good. They all got the same back. All these editions here got the same back. I'm going to just put the ones that I'm not going to talk about too much just right up here on the side. All Hallows Eve. Some people might, you know, if you know, this is a very creepy, scary book. It's great. All his stuff is great, though, I tell you. And I'm going to talk about just my favorite, and there we go. So, The Greater Trumps, book about the Terra, The Place of the Lion, Descent into Hell. Great cover. And my personal favorite of his works, this just came, is a hardcover, newly printed War in Heaven. Show you some of this action. You might be able to see the little embossment. Sorry, I kicked the tripod. The little embossment there, or a little imprint there, is the Grail. the Holy Grail. It's actually on the top of the spine here too. All right. In papers. All of his novels, all the ones that I'm showing in this video, are available in this edition now, with different coloring. You know, one of them's orange, one of them's red, one of them's purple. War in Heaven is this aqua blue. This is the Charles Williams Society as a group that is making his stuff more available in collectible editions, hardcovers, because I mean, like you see, all my others are these paperback editions. So they're all available here. I hope they do go through all of his work, do his theological writings, do his plays and his literary criticism, all of it. There is some other stuff in the works, that's for sure. So War in Heaven, I've touched on my channel. If you're not familiar and haven't seen any others, I'll just go ahead and say this book is a breathless adventure, running, you know, thrill ride that doesn't stop. I found myself breathing heavy. I found myself holding my breath. I was reading and just reading, going. It doesn't stop. It is an amazing work. It is a quest. You know, the Grail, the Holy Grail, shows up in an abbey, you know, a small little abbey on that in the country, and the preacher, the Catholic deacon or archdeacon or something, I believe is what his title, you know, was. He realizes that he has it, you know, and he's just, you know, a very virtuous, a good person. And so he just, you know, keeps it safe. But others know that he has it. They bring it to his attention that it's in his abbey. And they don't know for sure, but they think, well, he knows that it's there, of course. He knows what he has. And, you know, it's on. In this, you get classic Charles Williams metaphysical, occult stuff. It's scary as well. You know, his stuff is I don't want to say it's like full on horror, but it is scary. You know, all of his kind of stuff will get your heart going. There's some very evil people in Charles Williams' work. He has an understanding of human nature like that most don't. The whole spectrum. He's so good at writing a good character, a character that you love, that you respect, and that is good, and that is believable in their goodness. And then he can write a character that is so bad, and you just can't. You almost don't even want to read about this person. He's such a bad person, and you just might think, there's people like this. They really, it's so ridiculous. One of the characters that I love to hate the most out of any novel I've ever read is the villain in War in Heaven. So that was actually my first Charles Williams book, and I'm so happy that I went for that one first, because it's just awesome. And then I just was on the train. So I read Place of the Lion. Now, Place of the Lion is Platonic archetypes, which are animal archetypes, are becoming, or their power is being actually unleashed in a physical way on the earth. And it starts in this town, in a town, you know, in the countryside in England. And people start kind of aligning with different powers, different archetypal powers, and the archetypes themselves become part of the activity in the story. There's amazing stuff in here. It was a very fun read. Place of the Lion, it'll give you a lot of food for thought, just seeing how the things work out. Very, very good one. The next one I read was The Greater Trumps. The Greater Trumps is about the tarot, of course. It is an awesome book. Now, it's about the kind of thing that, Charles Williams kind of is known for. His stuff has people that have ulterior motives and intentions that they're not making plain on the surface. And you as a reader know all of it. It's told in like a third person omniscient. So you know all of it, but the characters don't know what situation they're really in until they're in it. Now, in The Greater Trumps, there is a scene, a scene that is totally mind-blowing. It is a scene of a snowstorm. And everybody is kind of in the house, but the father of the main characters has gone out for a walk, and there's a snowstorm, a metaphysical, brought about by occult magical means snowstorm that is unbelievable, so awesome, and the whole scene is awesome. It will stick with you for a long, long time. And then Descent into Hell. Now, Descent into Hell is a very special book. I think it's probably his best as far as a story and as far as a book. There's two main narratives that we're following, two main characters that we follow, but there's quite a few characters in the book for sure. But one is Peter Stanhope. Peter Stanhope is a popular, very well-off playwright, and he's putting on a very new play. Just finished it. He's putting on a very new play in a small town, in a suburban town in the countryside, and they're all rich. Like the whole town is just where they live is very affluent, and so everybody, the little town is putting on the play, and he's agreed to read it. Him and somebody from the town, a woman from the town is helping him in putting this play on, and it's just everybody's involved. So that's the main thing going on in this. But there is just some very scary scary stuff. One of the characters that we follow, he's this guy, he actually creates for himself a succubus, a demon, and lives with her. And he's the one that we watch, descend. And then we have another character, this female here, who is somebody that we are following, Pauline. And she is constantly just followed around and confronted by, she hasn't been confronted by yet, but she knows it's coming. Her doppelganger, another that looks just like her, that is her, and she sees this person, and she, for some reason, and it's just driving her crazy. It's an amazing story, but in this story, Charles Williams does bring out some of his theological ideas, and I wanted to touch on one. It's called the Doctrine of Substituted Love. Now, the Doctrine of Substituted Love, it's really just best for me to just read it out. Just read it straight. It's awesome. So I'm not going to read from the book, because that's a whole scene, right? But in the little companion here, I just saved it. So in the chapter entitled "The Doctrine of Substituted Love," Stanhope, the playwright, offers to do for Pauline what she cannot do for herself. He offers to bear the fear of her doppelganger. So this is something that's just like, she's in constant stress, and she's in constant fear. She doesn't want to walk from place to place, but she does. You know, she can overcome her fear, but she stays in anxiety over it. He offers to bear her fear of the doppelganger. This strikes her as nonsense, of course, but he refers to St. Paul's words about people bearing one another's burdens and thus fulfilling Christ's law. But he points out that one need not refer to Christ. It is a simple fact of experience. If I carry something for you, like a parcel, then you need not carry it. It is I who feels the weight of it now, not you. Talking about her fear. Pauline just, says no thank you. It's too humiliating. And says, why would I push my burden onto anyone else? To which he replies, not if you insist on making a universe out of yourself. If you want to disobey and refuse the laws that are common to all of us, if you want to live in pride and division and anger, you can. But if you will be part of the best of us and live and laugh and be ashamed with us, then you must be content to be helped. And that's the truth, you know. Stanhope's offer is a case in point of what all joy is made of. My life for yours, I owe all to you, and vice versa. The saints know this and find it to be blissful. The souls in hell hate it, and they refuse it. Pauline agrees to try Stanhope's offer. Now, it might seem, since I'm just kind of glossing over it, a little hard to grasp. So I'll just clarify it. What it is, the doctrine of substituted love is like this. I'm afraid of, say I share with somebody that I'm afraid of heights, but I'm about to go on a plane. You know, I have to travel or something like that. And so that person that I'm sharing it with that loves and cares for me, they can commit to putting themselves in an imaginary place in their house or just sitting there, and inside themselves in their imagination, feel the fear for me. Put themselves in, even if they don't have a fear of heights, put themselves in the plane, imagine themselves doing what I'll be doing. And when I do it, they be at home. I'll be, doing my thing, doing my plane that I'm so apprehensive of. What he's saying is they sit and they actually feel the fear and feel the anxiety and feel all of it and let you know that they're going to do that. They do that when you are doing that, and they actually take that fear from you because they're feeling it. They're holding that. They're getting riled up. They're getting their breath up. They're causing themselves to break out into a sweat or something like this from working up their own inner anxiety in a loving way for you. And does that, what the claim is that will alleviate the actual fear and anxiety felt by the person actually doing it, if they give into it on their end as well, to understand that person is doing that, they are doing that. Talk to them about it, talk about it the whole time, or before and after, kind of thing. Really commit to it, really let your guard down and give into that kind of thing, that it will alleviate the negative anxiety, pain, fear, and it will be replaced with a positive anxiety, pain, fear. Because what are you giving up? What would the person be giving up by sitting there and working themselves up in fear, in being afraid of heights, when they really don't have much of a fear of heights, but they're doing it to alleviate that pain for somebody else and that fear and that anxiety. It's a loving activity to do. And afterwards can just drop it and break it and say, well, I did what I said I would do. That's what I did. And, hope that it had a positive effect for my friend. And that be it, for, so you're not taking a lot of a negativity on. You're just loving your fellow human beings. So it's a beautiful idea, and there's more to it than what I'm saying, but that is bore out in that whole chapter. The chapter is called The Doctrine of Substituted Love, and it's very interesting. So I hope this inspired you a little bit about Charles Williams. When it comes down to it, Tolkien, I think I heard, Tolkien didn't really dig Charles Williams because he thought he was too occult, into just that kind of stuff, which is, think of how we look at Tolkien now, what is he wrote. And C.S. Lewis loved Charles Williams. C.S. Lewis is instrumental in having Charles Williams in the Inklings. So C.S. Lewis ended up being like a defender of Charles Williams for in front of Tolkien. So when it comes down to it, it's just super interesting, because you would think, especially with how big of a Christian apologetic background and what C.S. Lewis has become as far as just this giant of Christian literature, that he would be the one, if anybody's saying, hey, this is occult stuff, we don't want any of that around here, kind of thing. But Tolkien was the one who brought up that kind of concern and wanted to, kick Williams out of the group at some point. And C.S. Lewis is the one defending Charles Williams. Charles Williams has a wonderful, interesting life. YouTube some videos. There is some cool little talks on Charles Williams on YouTube. I might put some in the description box. Hope y'all enjoyed this BookTube. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. Catch you on the next one.